Hey everybody, I'm Jack Reeder with Future Pastimes, and I'm one of the designers on the Chome and Richess expansion, which is the second expansion for the classic Dune board game, the 2019 edition from Gale Force 9. One of the variants in this expansion is something called Leader Skills. Now this is a card that you assign to a specific one of your leader discs, and you put that in front of your shield so everyone knows which leader has which skill. There are some changes to the setup where you get your treachery card first because some of these leader skills are designed to be with specific types of treachery cards, as we'll see in this video. And then you're dealt 2 leader skills, you pick one, assign it, and then you choose traders, which adds a little more spice to the trader selection because now you've got some information about skilled leaders that may play into which leader you want to choose as a trader during the setup. We're doing a deep dive on individual leader skills, and today we're going to be looking at something called the Prana Bindu Adept. This is part of a sort of Bene Gesserit skill set, and we're going to take a look at what this particular skill does. Now, each leader skill card has 2 effects. One that is either an additional advantage that you can enjoy or a skill that will affect all of your other leaders. And then the second effect is for when you have the specific skilled leader that is associated with this skill in battle. So Prana Bindu Adept is one of those skills that works best when you have a particular type of card. In this case, it is a projectile defense. And as you can see from the art, kind of looks like the art for the shield. And that is on purpose. It even has a little bit of a blue dotted line around there. And the blue is the defense color. So it's a tiny cue about what this does. So if you have a projectile defense and you have this leader skill, and let's say that you've got Juana Marcus, you're the Bene Gesserit, you've got Juana Marcus. Of course, anyone can have this, so it can be a Harkonnen skill or a guild skill or whatever. I'm just using Juana Marcus because she's a Bene Gesserit. She is the one that you have assigned the skill out in front. And while she's out in front, your other leaders enjoy this benefit. So if you're in a battle and you've left Juana Marcus out front, everyone knows that you're not using Juana Marcus in that battle, but your other leaders will get a +1 to their leader discs if you're using a projectile defense in that battle. So all of the Bene Gesserit leaders are 5s. Well, this would turn them into 6s for purposes of the battle. Now, if that leader is killed, you don't get 6 spice from the spice bank. You still just get the 5, which is the strength of the leader. So their knowledge in Prana Bindu tenets does not translate to being rendered into water. And that's really what's happening. When you kill the dead, they're rendered for their water, and water is valuable on Arrakis. So that's what you're getting the spice for. Now, let's say that you use Juana Marcus, and you want to use her in the battle because you do have a projectile defense, because when you use this leader in battle, you're going to add a +3 to the leader disc when they're using a projectile defense. So now Juana Marcus is an 8 strength leader, and that's a big deal. But when you want to do that, anytime you're in a battle, you can choose to bring the leader with the skill behind your shield. Now, that may be signaling to the other players that you intend to use that leader in battle, but you don't have to. It could be a bluff. But the downside is when the leader is behind the shield, the other leaders do not get the benefit here. It's got to still be out front, and you're letting the players know that you're not going to be using Juana Marcus for a +3, but everyone else will get the +1. But if you want people to think that you're using her, or if you actually do want to use her, you got to bring her behind the shield. And if you put Juana Marcus into your battle plan, you put the card in the battle plan as well. I always like to keep the disc with the leader skill out there so that you don't have a situation where you're like, oh, which one of my leaders was it that had the skill? Not that that's likely to happen, but it could happen, and we don't want it to happen. So that's how Prana Bindu Adept works. And as you can see, let's say, you put it on Jessica. Let's say you put it on Stilgar. He can learn Prana Bindu skills. That turns him into a 10 strength leader. If you've got a shield or any projectile defense, it just says projectile defense. It doesn't have to be a shield. So you could be using Weirding Way as a defense, which is a little apropos, I would say. And then, boom, you've got 10 strength Stilgar. Can't be killed with a crysknife or a stunner. Can be killed with poison, though. And if you are killed, the skill is killed as well. So that +3 would go away if Stilgar or Juana Marcus or whoever you had this attached to. Now, there's a danger of putting it with your highest strength leader, because as I mentioned, you're doing traders afterward. And Stilgar with Prana Bindu, boy, if somebody has dealt him, then they're definitely going to choose him as a trader. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll be dealt Stilgar as the Fremen, and you'll be like, oh, now I know that he's safe. Of course, you've already made the decision to assign the skill. So sometimes you're like, well, let's assign this skill to maybe a lower strength leader. Maybe you make Umankadu a Prana Bindu Adept, so that +3 actually makes him a pretty good strength leader if you move him into a battle. And maybe you're like, I'm just going to keep him up front and not risk him so that everyone else is going to get the +1. So you've got some flexibility about how you want to use a lot of these leader skills and leverage them for as much use as you can. So if you have any other questions about Prana Bindu Adept or any of the other leader skills, let me know in the comments. That's it for this one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.